They told us to give a disclaimer. The views expressed on this podcast are those of the podcasters, any guests, and do not reflect any of the management, owners, sponsorships, or employees of thereof. Pretty much, if you're soft, don't listen to this podcast. One thing I pride myself on is just being the same and trying to look out for my folks along the way.
Like, even with all these, big things happening, like, you still mad humble, and you still, like, you have enough clout now where you could easily be like, I'm not fucking with this, I'm not fucking with that.
Oh yeah, motherfuckers, it's on. Unrestricted podcast, DreRawka. Thank you so much for click and play. I really appreciate it. Because of you, those numbers are going up, up, and up, and it's been fantastic. YouTube, we are crushing it. We're on our way to 1 million views, and it's all because of you. If you want to get some merch, allrock.com, ALLRAWK.com. Today, I got a very special guest right across from me, a comedian, a musician.
Yes, sir.
Somebody that has, at this time, you've beaten cancer. Dope. I got my man Donnie Bonelli in the building.
Hey,
that name it's just like a nice name.
thanks, man. Yeah, people always think it's a stage name, but I was born with it.
See, I was born with Andre Adams, so it's not, I don't know, maybe an actor, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying Andre Adams isn't, maybe a news anchor.
Yeah.
Very formal.
Yeah, it's very formal.
You put my middle name in there, Andre Steven Adams. That's what I put on my resumes if I'm looking for a job.
Yeah, I bet that works.
Yeah, Steven sounds good. Sounds white. Andre, a little too ethnic.
Yeah. I feel like you can corner both markets a little bit with a name like that,
Donnie, man, are you from Utah?
Not originally, no. I grew up in it's not little now, but when I was growing up, it was a small town, Moreno Valley, California. It's like 60 miles east of LA, out in the desert. Just a little kind of weird. It's part suburbs, part hood, part fucking just like desert, man. It's like a weird little town. Yeah.
Did you siblings? What was the home life like? 2
sisters. Parents were married until I was an adult. Dad worked far away, so he was driving all the time. He wasn't home that much, but yeah, kind of normal. Grew up Mormon. Yeah.
How was that, man? Having a dad that was gone, and was it mom kind of holding down the household?
Yeah, mom was a stay-at-home mom. She did her thing. I was never the type of kid to just be at home, so I was out getting into shenanigans and being out in the neighborhood, and it was a good time. What
was the interest? What was young Donnie into?
Oh man, climbing trees, getting in fist fights.
A lot of rock throwing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
How many windows have you broke?
Oh, too many. Too many. One time my boys and I we were in a parking lot of a newspaper, and we were throwing rocks at cars, and I was like 9, I think, 8 or 9, and these grown-ups came and grabbed us and took us in this room, and they're like, this has happened before, and we're going to pin it all on you guys. And I was naive as hell. My 2 friends, Kenny and Jamal, they were...
Damn, we got to be a Jamal.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. He was the most innocent, I think, but they were like, they switched names up. They asked us for our names, and they asked me first, and I told them my real name. And then Kenny was like, my name's Kenny Cormack, which was Jamal's last name was Cormack, and Jamal was like, I'm Jamal Sabori.
No paper out there, but you got lit up.
Yeah.
You got paper trail with your name on it.
Yes, sir.
That's
naive
funny.
And stupid, man.
That's how you learn street smarts, though, right? Growing up, a lot of the street smarts I learned. My dad's from the streets. I shouldn't say he's from the streets. He has a lot of street smarts. He wasn't really academically the smart guy. I think he finished like 7th grade and he was out. Yeah. So I learned a lot of my street smarts from my friends doing shit like that. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, damn, don't use my real name when I'm talking to the police. Don't talk to police.
Yeah.
Have a good strategy where you're out doing dirt. Yeah. Okay, I get it now. What was some of your influences growing up as like a kid, like musically?
Yeah, I remember being real little, and I had this neighbor, Andre Hawley. He was a cool kid. I still, a little bit in touch with him. we were like 5 or 6. He had 2 older sisters, and they were really into house music, and they were really into hip hop. So I remember hearing like EPMD at that age, Hammer, MC Hammer.
How far are you? You said you were just outside of LA, but how far are you from the Bay?
Pretty far. Yeah, like I want to say like 6-7 hours, something like that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
MC Hammer was far away, but you knew that hey, he's in the same state.
Yeah. And you know, back then, people now they think of MC Hammer and they're like, oh, it's corny. But like back then, everybody knew MC Hammer was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah,
you know?
Hammer was that hustler.
Yeah,
it was that dude.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of you know, I didn't even know a lot of the names of the artists I was being exposed to until I was older. You know, but I would know a song or whatever. Cooling on the scene like a horse in the stable. I always thought, you know, or I never knew that was EPMD until I was older. And I was like, oh shit, they were putting me on game to some good shit, you know?
Do you remember the person that introduced you to hip hop? Like,
yeah, it was that my friend's older sisters, you know, just listening to it when I was over at their house, you know.
did they ever like give you like an album like this is the one?
No, they didn't really, I think they kind of saw me as like, who is this white boy? You know,
Yeah.
I was just their little brother's friend, but, you know, they were just doing their thing and I was just paying attention. That's all it was, you know.
Were you ever into skating? I know skating's big in California.
Yeah, I was big into skating when I was in high school. But I was like a punk. I was into punk rock at that time. I listened to a little bit of hip hop.
What was some of the punk rock bands?
Oh man, well, I started off with like the old crusty stuff, Dead Kennedys and the Sex Pistols, and what else? Total Chaos.
So what do you think about British punk versus American punk?
I like American punk. Yeah. I almost never listen to much British stuff, but I still listen to Dead Kennedys all the time. I also got really into skate punk, like NoFX, and No Use for a Name is still like one of my favorite bands. So,
see, I grew up with a lot of skate tapes. You know, skate tapes, frozen burritos, and hip hop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like the punk, skate, and hip hop have a lot of correlation to each other. So I learned so much about the punk rock scene.
Yeah.
And because if you look at it from on the outside, you'd be like, whoa, like a person of color probably ain't. And I don't know, man. But then you listen to the music, and it's like very much anti-Nazi. It's very much like fuck the system. It's very much like we're gonna do what we want.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what hip hop is.
Yeah, it's the same. It's like they're both folk music for street kids, you know. So, because the hip hop I did listen to was like I liked Wu-Tang since I was a kid. I was really into Wyclef Jean's Carnival album back then. I'm trying to think what else that like around 16 is when I really started to dig into hip hop and was like, okay, this is something really special, you know. And it was Wu-Tang. It was a lot of local underground stuff out there in the desert in California, you know, going to shows and yeah, you'd see the same kids at the punk shows and at the hip hop shows.
Was Donnie a cartoon kid? Did you?
Oh yeah,
Saturday cartoons. What was Donnie watching as a kid?
Man, I was really into Tailspin, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Man, what else? I did a little bit of Nickelodeon, but I was more Disney and like network TV.
My middle child, he's just found out about DuckTales. He just found out about Darkwing Duck.
Darkwing Duck was my shit, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm reminiscing through him, and thank God for Disney Plus.
Yeah,
they have all the catalogs.
That's right. Yeah.
What ended up bringing you to Utah?
Well, I was raised Mormon. So I first came here as a Mormon missionary. I did my mission here.
You got assigned here. Mm-hmm. What were you hoping for? When you got your mission call, what were you hoping for?
I wanted to go to the islands, man. I was hoping to go to like Samoa or Tonga, something like that, because I had a lot of Polynesian friends. And I was like, oh, it'd be dope if I could speak Samoan, you know?
Yeah.
But nah, they had other plans for me. They were like, we got to keep an eye on this motherfucker.
Before you got your mission call, had you traveled outside of California?
A little bit. Not much. I've been to, like, Tijuana.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's pretty much California.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong, bro. Yeah.
So you get your mission call, you go, you what's the thought? And I've always wondered this. Living in Utah, the temple to me is just kind of like, that's the temple, right? It's kind of like, oh, there's another Maverick, right?
Yeah.
But to somebody that is within the faith in a different state, what is the thought of Utah Mormons?
We always kind of grew up thinking Utah Mormons were, they were like Amish people to me. You know what I mean? Because, we were Mormon, but everyone around wasn't Mormon. In fact, it was like there's a lot of Mormons in Southern California, a lot of Mormons in my town, but not like here. You know what I mean? Like, we were still considered a sort of a small group. But yeah, we would meet kids from Utah, and they all had the same haircut, and they dressed squeaky clean. They weren't into punk rock; they were into jam bands and
we did
pop
have
music.
We did have SLC Punk though,
for sure. But that was like the tail end of my high school when that came out.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we didn't know about all that. We just knew like all the Tylers and the Brocks.
Yeah. So you get your mission call. You leave your family. What year did you end up touching down in Utah?
I was 01 to 03.
Okay.
On a mission. Yeah, so I came here for that, and then went home for like 6 months or a year. And I was like, damn, I'm not going to meet a woman in California, I don't think. I was like, I know everybody here. I want to go try something new. So I came to Utah. I was here for 6 months in the wintertime. I was like, nah, this isn't it. So I went home, back to California. And then I decided I wanted to go to film school. And I couldn't get into any schools out there because my grades were terrible. And I happened to know a family friend whose brother was running the film program at UVU. It was still UVSC, I think, at the time. And he was like, yeah, come up. We're open enrollment. Come check out the program, see if you like it. So I did, and I liked it. So I came here, and I've been here most of the time ever since. Yeah.
Utah County?
I started in Utah County. I was there for like 8 years, and then I was over it because in that time I quit. I left the church, and Utah County's so Mormon, man.
Oh yeah, it's like the Jerusalem of
yeah,
for Mormons.
Yeah. So and I was getting old. I was like 30 when I finally left the church. So yeah, I came up here, moved up to the Avenues, was in the Avenues for 2 years while I was kind of figuring out how to not be Mormon.
What was the thing that made you be like, I'm not down with this faith no more?
It was a lot of stuff, but initially it was all the like anti-gay stuff the church was doing. I grew up doing all kinds of like sort of performing arts type stuff. So I've known gay people my whole life. There's good ones, there's bad ones, just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was fucked up to just pour money into making it so they can't have the same rights as everybody else. And that's what the church was doing at the time. And I was like, that doesn't seem like something God would be into.
Ain't that crazy? Because you grew up with a lot of people of color too. Mm-hmm. But the religion said that those people of color were the devil.
Yeah, well, what the religion taught really was just that it's really subtle racism, right? So they would say like, oh, black people are descendants of Cain from the Bible. I actually have a joke about it that's been going really well lately. But yeah, they would say, black people are descendants of Cain, and they're black because they were less valiant before we came to earth. And, my young mind, I didn't understand how bad that was. Because it didn't make me treat anybody any different, but it definitely made me think of people different, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, all the stuff the church does that I'm opposed to, when you're in it, it feels subtle. When you get out, you're like, damn, that's not subtle at all. That's fucked up, you know?
So you get out of it, you're finding yourself, and at what point do you find the creative side? Or have you been creating this whole time?
Whole time, yeah.
So what are you creating? Are you creating music? Are you approaching the comedian career?
No, it's mostly music and like visual art. So that's what I do for work. I'm a illustrator and graphic designer for clothing companies.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, I've been doing that for like 10 years professionally, but I've been doing it since high school, really. And I've been drawing since I was old enough to pick up a pencil.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you when you were at UVU, did you what came out of that?
So I didn't get a degree. I was at UVU for 2 years. I studied digital media with an emphasis in filmmaking. And I dropped out when the 2008 financial collapse happened. My parents were helping me with school and they couldn't afford it. I was afraid to get loans because I'm bad with money. So I just was like, well, I'll just drop out and I'll just go work. So I started working on TV shows and movies and all that type of shit. I was like an extra in TV shows and movies, just getting on set, getting experience.
Was that here in Utah?
Started in Utah, moved to California for 2 years. Worked at Disneyland while I was out there and worked in movies. So,
well, how was that experience? Did you like what was your favorite part? Was it behind the camera, being the extra? Did you want to be camera A?
Yeah, so I was a camera assistant, which it was a weird time because back in the day, one of the big responsibilities of a camera assistant was like loading film, checking the film, making sure there's no hairs on it or anything, making sure everything's clean.
Is this still analog?
When I started, it was like during the transition.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was having to learn all this stuff that was going to be obsolete, and I was having to like learn all the new shit at the same time. It was like overload, you know?
God damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I liked it. I didn't want to be a camera guy, but the first project I worked on, that's what they needed, and I just wanted to be involved, so that's what I did. And back then, now you can kind of move around. Back then you couldn't. Back then it was like once you start whatever job you start, that's what you do in the industry, and you can move up like a track on that path, but you can't jump from the camera crew to the props department, you know. Now you can. Now it's a lot looser. So
I feel like that's the case for a lot of things creatively. You know, there's people that can hold you back from getting certain opportunities, but at the same time, like I feel like there's those people that hold you back from whatever opportunity. You can go and create it over here. Yeah, you know what I mean. So the term gatekeepers, while I understand that there are some people out there with power, I refuse to let somebody tell me I can't do something.
Same, yeah. If I'm interested, I'm gonna try it out, and if I'm good at it, I'm gonna pursue it most likely. You know, that's what happened with comedy.
So you do the film stuff. You're still doing a lot of graphic designing and things like that. At what point did you start the music journey?
I mean, my dad was a classical and opera singer, like one of the best that I've ever heard. He was incredible. And so I grew up around music, been singing since I was a little kid, been writing songs since around high school. I mean, I would make up songs as a kid, but like got serious about writing songs in high school. It was like punk and ska songs, you know. And then my senior year, when I really started to get heavy into rap, I was like, oh, I bet I could do this. And I was taking a t-shirt printing class, and in the dark room, there were these two guys that would go in there and freestyle every day. So I would go in and just sit in the dark and listen to these guys rap. I was like, this is the coolest shit ever, man. They're just going off the dome. And yeah, one day I was sitting in there and they were like, hey, it's weird that you come and sit in here, bro.
Yeah, if I'm the fourth guy out in the class and I see 3 guys going to bed in the dark room back in the back, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. So they were basically like, yo, if you want to hang out in here, like, you should try, you should freestyle with us. I'm like, all right. And I did okay. I wasn't fucking Negrodamus or anything, but I was kicking flows. And yeah, then I started writing, my pen game was all right. And it went from there. So yeah, I started rapping around, I think I was 17 at the time.
When did you find out you were good?
Pretty much right away. I knew I was good because all the black dudes in school were like, hey man, you should come hang out with us, come be in our crew.
Yeah. Once you get the black stamp, you're just don't say the N word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They gave me the pass, but I was smart enough to know that means you don't use it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If it slips in the freestyle, you might get
Yeah, exactly. Instead of an ass whooping, they'll just smack you.
Come on, Donnie. What you doing, man?
That's right.
What was your MC name?
My first MC name was Spell It. Spellit. Yeah, because I used to spell shit out all the time, like Snoop. Snoop back in the day would be like SNOOPTOGC.
Yeah.
I loved that shit, so I'd always spell stuff out in my rhymes back then. Yeah, Spell It. Didn't last long. I changed MC names like 10 times, bro.
Give me some of the ones that didn't make the cut.
Don Donald the Sheik.
Whoa.
I know.
Was this from D Chic? Was that from, are you a wrestling fan?
I was like a passive wrestling fan after like the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, it was just like, it was a flip on like the word chic, like, oh, I'm chic.
Oh, okay.
But also like the chic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that didn't last long at all because all the House of Lewis dudes were clowning me at all times about it.
So this was before Disneyland, or this was after Disneyland?
Yeah.
Because you said Don Donald.
Yeah.
So that didn't work. House of Lewis was like, nah, that ain't it.
Yeah.
What were some other ones? Are you a vape fan? Maybe you're looking for a better vape experience, better flavors, longer charge times, more puffs? Well, let me introduce you to my friends at Hush, Utah's very own and #1 disposable. And now introducing their brand new Hush Supreme, 8,000 puffs, rechargeable with an adjustable airflow. And let me mention that they got 12 different mouth-watering flavors. Strawberry watermelon, and my personal favorite, the raspberry candy ice. And 10 more mouth-watering flavors with many more to come. Stop by your local vape shop and get your mouth-watering Hush Supreme today. As always, you must be 21 to purchase. Oh, and make sure you drop them a follow on IG at Hush Disposables. And I am 4She. That's IAM, the number 4, SHE. Now I talked to the good folks over at Hush and I told them, hey, I love the Supremes. I love the raspberry candy ice. I need to give these away on the podcast. And what they do, they said, Dre, we got you. So for a limited time, you have a chance to win an official Hush Supreme. And all you gotta do is text the keyword HUSH, HUSH, to 385-240-4666. Text it in now for your chance to win. You gotta be 21 and above. Good luck. Hush is a nicotine product and contains nicotine, which is an addictive chemical.
Oh man, shoot. They were all like flips on my actual name. Donald Duckett's. Yeah, I'm trying to remember, man. I went through so many in such a short period of time. Because I would come up with one and then like Apt and Chance would just be like rolling their eyes and clowning me. Yeah. I was like, all right, fuck you guys. Like, and then I think it was Scott, Rhyme Time, was like, your real name's cool. Why don't you just use your real name? I was like, shit, I never thought of that, And that's when I started just using my real name. Yeah,
even Donnie B is just like, your real name is Fly.
Yeah.
I am thinking about introducing you coming up on stage. Donnie Bonelli.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, it's...
Yeah.
It's
man, my first day of film school, my directing professor was like, calling roll, and he goes, Donnie Bonelli, he goes, everybody, remember that name. This man's going to be famous just because of my name. You know, he didn't know shit about me.
It's a fly name, man. Salute to the parents for it. Were you named after somebody? Is there like a third or?
Nah, both of my grandfathers. So Donald was my mom's dad, and Raymond was my dad's dad, and I'm Donald Raymond. And my mom was like, we're not going to call him Don, you know? That sounds like an old man. So they just called me Donnie, and it stuck. I tried to go by Don in 9th grade, and my grandpa lived with us. And so girls would call the house and be like, is Don there? And so they put my grandpa on the phone, and he's talking to some 14-year-old girl. Like, what the hell?
That's funny. He's like, what year is it? Is it 62? All right, 14's acceptable. Come over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man. And then my sister, like my grandpa, I'd get off the phone or whatever, and my older sister would be like, oh, hey, Don. What's up, Don? You know, I'm like, fuck. So I was like, I guess I'm Donnie forever, which I'm grateful now because, yeah, I don't feel like a Don. I feel like a Donnie for sure.
Is Bonelli, is that Italian?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, you a Don.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Donnie. You got to put the little Donnie in.
Yeah, you got, hey, Donnie.
Yeah. So you start rapping. Mm-hmm. When did House of Lewis become a thing?
So I was doing I was like doing singer-songwriter, like folk music in Provo. I still do that on the side, but
and are you at your own studio, or are you going to a studio?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I knew Chance and Apt just from being around Provo. Chance and I had played in bands together, and they started doing rap shows, the two of them. Chance didn't even rap when I met him. He was just like a little punk rock dude. And yeah, they started making rap music, and I was like, damn, I kind of miss this, you know? I miss doing rap shows and recording rap music. And so I just started writing stuff and hitting them up like, hey, let me come rock with you guys, you know? And at some point they started House of Lewis, just the two of them and DJ Scratchmo. And I basically just weaseled my way in. I was in like 2011, I think, or 2012, something like that.
And then you guys started the band, started the group.
Yep, and then we met Rhyme Time, or he was Atheist back then. I think about a year after that. And we did a show with him at Kilby Court. And we made him... We basically tricked him. We were like, hey, do you want a headline? Because no one was there. Or everyone that was there was going to leave. Mm. So we were like, do you want a headline? And he's like, fuck yeah, you know, because he was new in the game. And so we ended up playing for this big crowd, and then they all left, and he played for us. But he like left it all on the table. You know what I mean? He went hard. And we were like, that's a dude we want around, you know?
Yeah.
And so we started just hanging out with them and recording with them. And then at some point he kind of was just like I'm in the group now, right? We're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Like, Donnie did it to us. I guess you're doing it to us.
Yeah, that's right. Other people tried, but only me and Scott succeeded, you know.
Did you know about the hip hop community here locally before House of Lewis?
I didn't. They Chance and Apt, like, they really did the work to find the scene and plug into it. And I was just along for the ride, you know.
What was your thought, 2011, what was your thought seeing all these other local hip-hop acts as you're going and doing these shows? Yeah,
I was, to be honest, mostly I was not impressed. But there was a few standouts, like the Alive and Well crew, some of the guys in Fuck With Me Committee, Oratorical, and Q1. We were always fucking with those guys. But yeah, it was like Pat Main and Dummy and Wise and Burnell Washburn. Like, these are all guys we were like, okay, these guys can spit, you know?
Yeah.
It was weird, though, because I wasn't used to so many white boys, you know? Mm-hmm. In California, I was the white boy, and everybody else was black and Mexican or, you know, or something you couldn't identify.
Yeah. You're Cambodian?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I remember those times, man. Alive and Well was they had a big push.
Yeah.
Big push. And I loved their whole marketing was dope.
Yeah.
And Pat Main's just a talented individual.
Yeah, man.
He's a daddy now, man. He just had a baby.
Hey, yes.
Salute to my mans. And Dummy's just dummy. That dude's multi-talented.
Yeah.
And I think you don't have to be anything, but I feel like yourself, right? You can literally do the music. You can write a cool little promo comedy skit for the music. And then on top of that, you can make the design for the merch that you want to put for the music.
Yeah.
And I feel like in 2024, we need that. We need to be multifaceted. We can't just show up and hit record or, I only talk or whatever. I need to be able to talk, record, get lighting right, go and edit, and then put the graphic together for the project.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to learn how to do it all.
Yeah.
While doing it all, do you ever feel overwhelmed in the things that you do?
All the time. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to manage energy when you got so much going on, I was just thinking about it this morning. I have like 4 design projects I have to finish this weekend that are not close. And I'm like, it's going to be a busy weekend because I also have comedy stuff going on. And just like social stuff I got planned. Because that's the other thing. People don't think about this. Like, when you're in the arts, like, your social life is part of the work. You got to be out rubbing elbows with people, or else your shit's not going to get out there, or you're not going to get opportunities. Mm-hmm. So, like, after this, I'm going to meet some comics for lunch, and after that, I've got a couple hours to work on design stuff. And then tonight, I got to be at the comedy club. And it's like, I'll be there all night, and then, and then I got to come home and do more designs for several hours,
Are you, when you're designing a piece of artwork, is the client saying, hey, I need this, this, and this? Or do you have free range over the design?
It just depends on the client. So the stuff I'm working on this weekend, it's a bit of both. I'm doing stuff for a company that makes like baby clothes. So that stuff, they give me pretty clear instructions, and I just kind of put my own spin on it. But I'm also working for a streetwear brand out of South Carolina, and with them, it's like really collaborative. They'll hit me with an idea, or I'll hit them with an idea, and then we'll kind of pick it apart and sort of find what's dope about it. What do they think is dope about it? What do I think is dope about it? And we'll come together on the idea. And that's my favorite way to work on that kind of stuff, because like I'm not plugged in enough to what's going on in streetwear right now to like fully be like, this is what's dope, but they are. So they can say like, this is what's hot right now, and I'll go, yeah, that's hot, but we have to do it in a way that's really unique and original. You want to be able to be picked off of a shelf like, oh, that's different. Yeah.
You don't want to conform to the shelf.
Yeah.
That's kind of like comedy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, at what point did you be like, hey, I want to try to come this comedy route?
Yeah, so that was Rhyme Time got me into it. He started doing comedy open mics like 4 years ago, and he was like, tell me about it. I was like, damn, I've always wanted to do comedy. Like, I think I'd be good at it. And so I started going to mics with him, and I was terrible. I was straight butt at comedy, man. I would just like, this is a common mistake people make when they get in, is like, I would throw out a premise that I thought was funny, and then no one would laugh because they're waiting for a punchline. And I'd be like, damn, they didn't think that was funny? What's wrong with them, And Scott, Rhyme Time, he was killing it from the get-go. He'd get up the mic and just get laughs straight out the gate. And I was like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? He's like, I'm doing setups and punchlines. I'm like, yeah, but like the comedians I listen to, that's not what they're doing. It turns out that is what they're doing. They just do it in a way that's it's masked in story form, And then the pandemic came, the club shut down, and I stuck with it for a little bit, doing like online open mics. but I was just not feeling it, and I wasn't good enough. So I was just like, fuck this, I'm out.
I would imagine that an online open mic would be hard to do because there's no audience.
It's a terrible format, man. It's a terrible format. Some people, that's how they stayed sharp, kind of sharp during the pandemic, but like, it's not comedy. It's like, you know, it's something different. And so, or I should say, it's not stand up. It's still comedy. They're still telling jokes, but yeah. So I quit, and I didn't think I was going to go back. And then my cancer came back. I had cancer 7 years ago, so 6 years before it came back, or something. 6 years before it came back, and but it was quick and easy. It was like they took a piece of my tongue off, and that was it. I didn't have I had like a neck dissection, but no chemo, no radiation. It was just like surgery, and that was good for 6 years.
I kind of want to stay here in the cancer part of the story. What makes you go to the doctor to be like, hey, something's going on?
So I had what I thought was a canker sore on my tongue, and it didn't go away for a year. Finally, I was like, man, I should probably see what this is.
Look, some bad pussy, huh?
Yeah, bro.
Damn Denise.
That
fucking bitch Denise.
God damn it, Denise. Pussy was good, but yeah, no, that might be how I got it for sure. Because I don't smoke cigarettes or anything, or I don't really drink much, you know. So, but yeah, so the cancer came back, big tumor in my tongue, and they told me like, you might not be able to rap anymore, you might not be able to sing anymore. Like, this is going to change your life drastically. And they were right, but not in the way they meant. So I was in the hospital after my tongue surgery. I couldn't talk. I was having to use a whiteboard to like communicate, you know.
What part of the tongue did they cut off?
Half my tongue.
Holy smokes.
On the left side, yeah. Half my tongue. They rebuilt it with tissue from my forearm.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So it doesn't work on that side. It's just there. But yeah, it's crazy. You want to see it?
Yeah, let's see. Holy smokes. Yo, it looks like he has a piece of gum on his tongue.
Yeah.
So you can't feel that?
Not really, no.
Does it grow hair?
It did when they first did it, but now after like radiation and everything, it doesn't anymore. Yeah. So I used to have to shave my tongue when they first did it. Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, but obviously no taste buds on that side. No taste
I can
buds
still
at all?
taste because like you have taste buds in your cheek and the roof of your mouth, so I can still taste on that side. I'm getting used to it. Like I can't actually feel it right there, but it seems like I can because like the rest of my mouth kind of makes up for it.
How much of your speech? How much has it been altered?
So much, yeah. Like I mean, I had a real smooth way of speaking, and now it's like it takes a lot of effort to speak, and I feel like my speech is sort of clunky, you know.
I wonder how your Samoan would sound.
Bro, I used to know a couple of Swahili words because I knew a Swahili guy on my mission.
Like Sawu, Suwu?
No, I knew I knew names. I knew a couple names, but they had clicks in them. I can't say those names now because I can't click my tongue right.
Damn.
Like I'm incapable. Yeah, it's weird because my tongue's also short now. I used to have a long tongue. I can't even stick my tongue out barely past my lips.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
When you found out that you had cancer, what was your thoughts? Were you like, oh shit, like were you down about it? Were you like, we can fight it, whatever?
No, I was very bummed. I was very bummed. Yeah, because I mean, as soon as I knew it was back, they were like, yeah, your life's never going to be the same. So I was very sad, especially because like, I mean, I'm a pretty stubborn and determined guy. So, I did know in my heart that like whatever they said, it wasn't going to be as bad as what they thought, because I'm just not willing to accept defeat on that level. But I'm also practical on some level. So it was a bit of both. It was a bit of me going like, well, they're saying I'll never rap again. I definitely will. But it probably won't be like it used to be. And it's not, I used to spit fast. I can't spit fast anymore. I got to take it a little slower,
Well, I think that changes just a new thing, right? Just you alter it a little bit.
Yeah.
It still sounds dope.
Yeah. I've leaned into like the stories of like 50 Cent, Conway the Machine, these guys who've been shot and had to start from scratch.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I can still, everything I've ever written, I can still rap. It just takes a lot more effort and doesn't sound quite the same as it used to. You're
really spitting arm bars.
Yeah. That's right.
So, man, that's I want to go through like, were you depressed? Did you deal with that? How did you overcome depression?
Weed. Yeah, lots of weed, and also just keeping at things, and comedy. Comedy helped a lot. So what happened is I was in the hospital and my tongue was so swollen, it filled my whole mouth. And I couldn't, like, my sister was at the hospital with me. She was, by some fucking magic, able to understand what I wanted and needed all the time. And she was basically helping me communicate. But I was just sitting there and I started writing jokes. I don't know what happened. And I knew they were good jokes. Whereas before, everything I wrote was garbage, And I was like, as soon as I can talk, I'm going to go do open mics and test these jokes out. And as soon as I could talk, that's what I did. And the other comics seemed to be impressed. And that was encouraging. And that was when the depression really started to kind of ease up. It was like, okay, there's something creative that will get me on stages, if I can't get the music stuff going again.
Can you take me through your first open mic? Your healing?
Yeah.
Do you still have stitches in the tongue?
No, the stitches were gone, but I was still very swollen. My speech right now sounds okay. It didn't sound okay then. Like it was just mumbles, basically. Like, it was really hard to speak.
You were the Migos of comedy.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's right. Yeah.
Mama.
I had a hype man just be like, skirt. Yeah, my first open mic, I went to Wise Guys on a Tuesday night. They have a bucket list open mic where they just pull the names out of a bucket. And I got there late because I misread the website or the website had the wrong information. And the girl at the desk, Courtney, she was like, "Yeah, sorry, you're too late." And I was like, "Listen, I'm sorry I'm too late. I could swear the website had this information. I'm starting chemotherapy this week, and I don't know if I'll be able to come out to these mics. I don't know what my energy is going to be like. I don't know how I'm going to feel." I was like, "But I've written these jokes, and I really want to try them out." And she was like, "Okay, all right." And she let me get up. And I went up, and every joke got good laughs. Probably if I went back and listened, I wouldn't feel like I got good laughs now. But at the time, I was like, damn, these are funny jokes, man. These are working. And that was it. I went to another, like a bar open mic at Highlander bar. Mm-hmm. And they let me I was up there for like 10 minutes just reading jokes off of a piece of paper. And that was going well. The comics were laughing. The people in the bar were laughing. And that mic was when other comics were like, "Hey, why don't you come to this? Why don't you come to that?" It started kind of like bringing me into the community a little bit.
So you've been in the comic community for about 7-8 years now?
No, so this was, I've been in it for 4 years, but about 2 years ago is when I came back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're full force from 2 years ago, like 2 years. You're
Yeah.
serious. You're a comic. You're doing this thing.
Yeah.
When you're first starting, are you embraced by the other comedians, or is there some weird stuff going on?
Yeah, so 4 years ago, no, they didn't know who I was. There's comics who I'm friends with now who I knew who they were back then, and they have no recollection of me. You know, they remember Rhyme Time because he was good. You know what I mean? And he stuck with it for a little bit. But yeah, from about 2 years ago, when I came back around, there's sort of like cliques within the comedy scene, and there's a clique of comics that's like they're kind of the punk rock type dudes, you know, they're like DIY, and those guys kind of embraced me from the get-go. And then this sort of more like intellectual comics, or so they think of themselves. They took a little bit longer, but they've embraced me as well now. So I don't do the clique shit, man. I hang out with everybody. So
I was gonna ask: is a clique community, is that good for Utah comics, or is that bad?
it's bad for it. Yeah,
Why?
because I don't know. There's something to be said about exposing yourself to people who are different from you. You know, especially in a creative space. You know, imagine if, like in the hip hop world, if you only hung out with rappers who rap like you, you'll get stuck. You'll get in a loop. All your shit will get mundane. You know, but if you're 2 Chainz and you hang around Mos Def, Yasin Bey, like you're gonna feed off of each other. And even though your music's really different, the influence will be, you know, something good for both of you, I think. It's the same thing in comedy. So I'll hang out, you know, the ones that I hang out with in my free time is mostly kind of like the more punk rock guys, because that's where I'm comfortable. That's my wheelhouse. But I like being around the more intellectual guys because it makes my comedy smarter, you know. It makes me, when they're all riffing off of each other, like I can't always keep up with those guys because they're on just a different wavelength than me. But it makes me try harder to keep up with them, and then good shit comes out of that.
Is there anything that's hands off when it comes to comedy?
Not to me. Not to me. I think, I mean, I don't go out of my way to be edgy or anything, but I also don't shy away if I have something interesting that I want to say, you know? So I do a lot of jokes about, like, race, which is tough in Utah, man, because white audiences these days are so afraid of, like, culture. You know what I mean? Or being viewed a certain way. They're like, I'll tell a joke that's about black culture, and they just, like, tense up.
Yeah.
You know, they don't laugh.
Or look at the 3 black people in the crowd. Are they laughing?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Okay, I can laugh.
Yeah. I have a whole bit about how Darth Vader is black. And
He is.
yeah, he's voiced by James Earl Jones. Yeah, I do this whole bit about how Darth Vader's black, and a few times, if there's not a black person in the audience, the white people are like, I don't think I can laugh at this, you know? But there'll be a black dude like 4 rows back just like slapping his leg. You know? So it's, in my mind, there's nothing off limits. And if a joke's not working, but I know it's a good joke, it just means I got to figure out how to get that audience on my side.
Have you had the opportunity to do your jokes outside of Utah?
I just had my first outside of Utah show 2 days ago in Idaho Falls. So still real white.
Yeah.
But they're not uptight out there. These are farmers and shit, you know. So, and they don't get a lot of comedy there. So it was like people coming from all these little tiny towns into Idaho Falls, packed house, and I killed for 30 minutes. Like, they loved everything I had to say pretty much. And they weren't afraid to laugh at, you know, sort of more controversial type stuff.
How many shows did you do?
I just did one. It's just one show.
One show. No, so one time, one show.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I think having the 2 shows a night, you can, because I've said in them. One of my good friends, Jay Whitaker, he's a comedian.
Yeah. I just did 3 shows with Jay at New Year's, around New Year's.
Smash, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm seeing him and he's doing his thing, and I see the first show, and like one time I DJ'd his show, and so I'll watch both sets, and I'll be like, oh, I see what he did different in the set in the later show.
Yeah. So
with you having one show, you don't have that opportunity. So how do you know? Okay, I need to Mike Tyson this thing.
Yeah. So it's interesting because that was my longest set that I've done, was a half hour.
Which is long as fuck, bro.
Yeah. And it's also the first time I went up without a set list. I was like, I'm just gonna see how it feels up there. And it worked. It worked great. It's one of the best sets I've ever had. So
did you film it? I
did, yeah. Yeah. But like I got some of that confidence came from doing these shows with Jay Whitaker. I was nervous going to those Jay Whitaker shows. I've known Jay for years. And I know Jay's audience sometimes can be a little uptight about certain jokes. And I was nervous. I was like, uh-oh. But they loved it. They loved me. They love, Jay kind of co-signed me during the show, during the shows, talked about my set during his set, gave me a tag for a joke, that kind of stuff. And it gave me, I was like, okay, if I can do that well with Jay and Jay's crowd, that means that, like, I'm not just a one-trick pony. I'm not just for one group of people or for, a certain demographic. Like, I can get out and kind of stretch my legs a little bit. And I was nervous going to Idaho because what do I know about rural farm people? You know what I mean? I don't know shit about that life. So, but they wanted to laugh, and I delivered on the jokes, and it was all good.
Idaho Falls, some of the nicest people I've ever been around.
Yeah.
I DJ for Fierce Fighting Championship. Actually, they're in Idaho right now. But when I got booked out there, I went around the city. I just went around the city. I went to the liquor store, I went to a restaurant, and some of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
And I'm nervous. I'm from Salt Lake City, right? Where we're just getting blue. We're just getting broader, more faces, more different people and stuff like that. And my thought of Idaho Falls was, oh, it's all country. I'm gonna see a lot of Trump flags. There's gonna be a lot of Confederacy, even though it's not the South.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just thought that.
Yeah.
Go there. No. There's a big Hispanic community too. And I'm like, oh, wow, like this is dope. Like everybody's nice. They tell me where I should go and things like that.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate them. And I know they appreciated you for sure.
Yeah. There was, at that show, it was mostly all white people. But I remember at some point I was doing a joke about how I wish my hair would grow back as an afro after chemo. And I stopped in the middle of a bit and I was like, you guys don't have black people in Idaho, do you? And they lost their shit because they don't.
That's the truth.
I was like, we just got them in Salt Lake, you guys. When they come here, you're in for a treat. You know?
You're going to love it.
Yeah. And yeah, man, they were loose, man. They were cool. I was very pleasantly surprised by Idaho Falls. I told Keith over at Wise Guys, the guy that booked me for that show, I was like, anytime you want to send me to Idaho Falls, I'll drop everything and go do a show there.
Does he have a club out there?
No,
It's
but
in Boise, isn't it?
So they haven't opened the Boise club yet.
Oh, okay.
They have a property, and they just haven't got around to it. And Keith's been busy. He opened 2 clubs in Vegas in the last year, and so that one's kind of on hold in Boise for now.
Do you think Keith gets enough recognition and enough love?
No.
Why do you think Utah hasn't appreciated Keith?
I think part of it is because because comedy is sort of, it's it's not viewed as an art form by everybody. Some people think it's just like silly people doing silly shit, you know. Even comics, a lot of comics are like, it's not an art form, it's just a craft. And I'm like, craft is just a term for the tools you use to make art, you know what I mean? And the rules that apply. Like, comedy is an art form. Now, not all of us are artists up there. Some of us are just up there working. But the greats, you know, Dave Chappelle is an artist. The way he tells the story, the way he weaves jokes into the story, that's art, you know. So I think some of it's that. I also think, you know, there's a lot of bigger things happening in Utah than the comedy scene. You know, Utah has a thriving theater scene, you know. And also, like, Wise Guys is just a club. It's not a theater. It's not an arena. And when you're thinking of the top dogs in comedy, you're thinking of, you know, Dane Cook in an arena or whatever, or Nate Bargatze.
I also think I think Wise Guys is an experience.
Yeah.
And if you know the history of what Keith has done and how he has expanded, and I hear people, I hear the comics that go through the club and they give him so much praise and they give him so much love, but they ain't from here. They ain't from our community. Yeah. And this is kind of my problem with our community, is that it's not just the comics. Yeah. It's hip hop too. Yeah. Right? Like, when you guys were on America's Got Talent, nobody showed love. Nobody from our scene was like, yo, those are our guys. Go tune in, go vote, go text. Yeah. None of that. Yeah. But then you got guys in comics that aren't from here. Oh, instance, Post Malone speaks highly of Utah. Yeah. NBA Youngboy, a young rapper, speaks highly of Utah. Yeah. And comics that are on all these big podcasts, they always mention, oh, Keith is the guy. Yeah. Wise Guys is beautiful. Yeah. Oh, I love that place. But for some reason, I don't see the comics giving it up for the guy that's giving them the opportunity. Yeah, for sure. And the guy that's giving us the experience. The guy that's building a safe place for couples to go on a Saturday night. Yeah. A guy to give you an opportunity on a Tuesday night to pull your name out of a hat to pursue your dreams. Yeah. A guy to get your name out in Idaho. A guy that gives you all these guys other things. Yeah. And I see him, and I when I look at Keith, I'm like, he ain't getting no younger. Yeah. He's an old man. Yeah. And the term "give him the roses now," I hate that term, but it's the truth, man. Yeah. Need to give that man his love.
Keith deserves the roses, bro. This man has worked tirelessly for 20 years to make comedy in Utah happen. And not only has he made it happen, he's made it a place where all of the best headliners around this country love to come to Utah and do shows because of Keith, because of what he's built. And I think part of why local comics don't give him his shine is because they want Utah to be Austin or LA or New York. And they see how Keith does things different from those scenes, and they're frustrated by it. Me, I see what Keith's done, and I go, I couldn't have done that. And if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't have had any of the opportunities I've had. I've grown a lot in the last 2 years as a comic, and most of that is because of opportunities Keith gave me. So to me, I will endlessly give that man shine, you know. But I also have a strong sense of loyalty. Not everyone has that, you know.
There is a thing about being loyal to a fault, though, too.
True, yeah, and that is a problem for me sometimes, you know.
Not that it's a bad thing.
No, for sure, but it can cause, it can make your path a little bit harder. It can make you give up good opportunities to be loyal, you know, which can be detrimental sometimes.
So some of the comics, they feel like we should have an Austin feel. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Not necessarily an Austin feel, but they just want, like, I went to Austin a couple months ago, and it's cool. I mean, you go to 6th Street, and there's 4 or 5 clubs all in one block, 1 or 2 blocks. And, you know, if you're a serious comic and you have the green light from the club owners and shit, you can You can be doing 2-3 hours of comedy every week. You can be getting paid. You can make a living at it. I don't know anyone except Ryan Hamilton, and he doesn't live here anymore, or like Jay Whitaker, or
who doesn't live here anymore.
Who doesn't? All the guys who are making a living at comedy from Utah are not in Utah, right? Except Keith, you know.
Now, is that due to less opportunity? Like, if we had more clubs, would there be more opportunity? Or is it because we're so, I mean.
It's a small market. It's a small market, and there's limited opportunity with a lot of people. So you go to Wise Guys on a Tuesday night. That's the bucket mic. And there will be sometimes 65 people on the list to do comedy that night. That's a lot. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a lot for, if you're hosting that mic, sometimes you're there till 11 p.m. It starts at 7. And that's a long time to be in a show, right? So, and out of that 60 plus people, you've got, I don't know, 20 who are serious about it, and less than that who are real serious. And then you've got sort of the made guys who have been at it for 20 years with Keith, grinding, you know. And so you're competing for time with the top 10 and the top 20 and the old guard. So, and Keith is big on loyalty. So, you know, you don't have to like check with him to book shows outside of Wise Guys, but like you have to be mindful. And so, yeah, I think what they want is they want to be able, this is what I want. I want to be able to stay living in Utah and have a career.
Well, and that's why I look at Keith and I'm like, man, he's booking all the big headliners. Yeah. He knows all these guys. He's friends with all these guys. He knows the guys. Yeah. If you come at him professionally and you're good and he co-signs you, I don't see a problem with him being like, hey, you gotta check my man out. Yeah,
I don't think Keith goes out on a limb like that for many people, but I don't think he's opposed to it in the right circumstances. But you know, he has to think about his business first, right? And his business is having a place for those comics from out of town to come do comedy. The local scene is a lovely byproduct of having a club, but it's not the main focus of the club.
Is that a problem?
No, I don't think so. I think it makes sense, you know, because I don't think it was ever intended for in his mind for Salt Lake to become what it's become for the local scene. Because when he started Wise Guys, there were only about 15, 20 comics in the state, you know, and those guys are mostly still around, you know, still doing stuff. Some of them have made big pushes. You got Bent Washburn, who lives in Germany now. He makes a career at it. He could come back to Utah and still make a career at it. You know, some of these other guys too. I think if Jay moved back to Utah, he could still have a career. But what it comes down to, it's like in any creative industry, there's this idea that you have to go where the markets are. And most people won't do what needs to be done to get to the top level. That's just the facts of it, you know? So my approach is like, I'm going to do everything I can in Utah. And when I get to a point where I feel like I need to take another step, then I'll look at going to another place. But my mind is like, while I'm doing my own shit, I'm going to try my best to build up the scene, build up the community, make the community stand out on a bigger level so that in the future I can live here and have a career. I live in Utah because I love Utah. I want to be in Utah. I could live in California. I still have family out there, you know what I mean? But this is where I want to be. But if I have to go to New York or Austin or whatever, like, so be it, you know?
I'm waiting for the day, man. I'm waiting for the day where the door is snatched off the damn house.
Yeah.
We have talent here musically.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about theater being big right now. Like, we have the people, we have the talent. I'm trying to navigate what's the missing piece.
Yeah.
We have a world-renowned club.
Yeah.
We have world-renowned talent. Mm-hmm. I refuse to believe that you have to leave Utah to make something of yourself to bring the other people up too.
Yeah. Well, see, I have a different perspective from most of the other comics, and that's because I came from music, and specifically I came from Provo music. When I was in Provo, we saw the Neon Trees get national fame. We saw the Imagine Dragons get national fame, and we saw a bunch of other artists from Provo make it to like a high level of independent music nationally and internationally. So I've seen it done. I've seen these people go, we're staying in Utah and we're gonna make it a thing. And they did, you know. And now A&Rs come from LA, they come from New York, they come from Nashville, and they check out music in Provo, Utah. So I believe we can build that in other sections of creative space. But you also have to be flexible. Mm-hmm. So if that's not working, you have to be willing to go somewhere else, you know. But my mindset is I'd rather do everything I can to make this a place where it works. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a comic buddy of mine. He just went and did Skankfest last year. He's done it 3 times, I think. And he was talking to Dave Smith from Legion of Skanks. And Dave Smith was like, where do you live? And he's like, oh, I live in Salt Lake. And he's like, why? He's like, I don't know. It's a great town, and there's a great comedy scene. We've got wise guys. He goes, listen, there are cities where comics love to go, like headliners, where headliners love to go and perform, and Salt Lake's one of them. But there are also cities where headliners live, and Salt Lake's not one of them. Mm-hmm. He was like, you got to live where the headliners live. That's where the opportunity is. And at the moment, he's right. But it doesn't have to stay that way. Austin wasn't that 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it starts with you have to have the talent, right? Yeah. It starts with you got to get off the couch. You got to go do it. You got to go chase the dream. Yeah. And I was talking to... got a slight flex right now. I was talking to Bert Kreischer. Oh yeah, and because so I work with another comedian named Cypher Sounds. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah,
with
I know Cypher. Yeah.
So I say comedian, man, hip hop.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, DJ. But, yeah, Hot 97, man.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So I do a lot of his content editing and whatnot, and he was on tour with Bert for a while, and last year they came here, so I got to meet Bert. I got to talk to Santino.
Yeah, I saw that. I went to that show when they were in town. Yeah, the
random fact. Yeah, Scott comes and he's sitting right next to me, and I haven't seen Scott in a while, right? And he's by himself, and I'm like, dog, like, what's up, man? Blah, blah. We watch the show. I get up to tell Scott to come backstage with us to come meet the guys, meet Syfe. I was like, introduce him to Syfe, and he's ghost. He's gone.
That's like, Scott, man.
But anyway, so I was talking to Bert and I was like, Bert, man, you do a great job at your promotion. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, you have to. He was like, if nobody's in, I over promote to some people. I over promote. I'm always in your face. And it made sense to me. He was like, if I don't promote myself, who's going to promote me? I can't just put my promotion in somebody else's hands. The people want to talk to you. So when I hear that comic that says you got to live where the headliners are, at the end of the day, it's like, we live in a digital era. We live in a digital world where people are going to find you most likely from a 60-second clip from your comedy. Yeah. In my opinion. Yeah. That 60-second clip, if they keep on hearing your name and your name is so relatable, Donnie Bonelli, you know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh, I've heard that name before. Oh, he's opening up for who? Oh, I like that comic too. I'm going to go see him. Yeah. And you just got to keep doing it. Keep doing this repetitive shows and going out to Idaho Falls again so they remember your name. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like I can tour, right? I can get in my car, I can book shows all over the country, and I can build a following, grassroots. I don't have to be in LA to do that. Will it help me if I'm in LA and you know, enough big comics see me kill and one of them goes, yeah, go on the road with me? Yeah, of course. But there's what they used to say, like, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Boom.
Yeah.
or arm for your tongue.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's more than one appendage to make a tongue. Yeah, man. So yeah, I just had a clip get 20K views. Hey,
That's good stuff, man.
yeah, right. And it's not 100K and it's not 1 million, but it's more than the 3K that was my top performing clip before that. So, the name of the game is keep pushing, keep putting shit out. If it's working, it's working. If it's not, try something else.
Donnie, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I know I had some segments that I want to get to. We're over an hour, but I do want to kind of put a cap on the comedy topic. What do you feel Utah comedy is doing really well at, and what do you think we need some help with?
Yeah, I think what it's doing well is it's cultivating good writers. The comics here are on another level from other small comedy scenes, and you see that when the guys from here have to go out of town for a while. My buddy Devin Imke, very funny guy. He has to travel a bunch for work, so he's been going to other scenes and doing comedy. And every time he goes to a new scene, he's like winning contests, and he's like the standout guy. And here, he's just another comic. You know what I mean? So Utah's producing great writers. Utah has Wise Guys, which is just a magic club, and Wise Guys is expanding. They just built a new room, the Rickles room, which is basically a room for us, for the locals.
Is that downtown or?
Yeah, it's
Jordan?
at the downtown club. Yeah, and it's like an 85 cap room, and what we're seeing is a lot of local guys are now able to headline, where they couldn't have filled the showroom, but they can fill an 85 cap room for 2 or 4 shows, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Utah's got the fundamentals right, and that's really important. So there's more we can do. We've got Don't Tell now doing comedy shows here, which is good. That's a national comedy brand. So, yeah, I just think it's a good place to be, and it's a good time to be here.
What do we need help with?
Man,
what do we need to work on?
Community. It's gotten a lot better than when I first came around 4 years ago. 4 years ago, it was like nobody was getting along in the comedy scene. It's a bunch of egos. Hip hop was the same way when I first came around.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still a long way to go. There's a lot of little squabbles and beefs that are unnecessary that really could get worked out with the conversation, But egos are big, so we get those egos focused, because ego is important in the arts. If you don't have it, it's like Burt Kreischer, he's doing all that promotion, right? That's because he has an ego. Your ego drives you to do that shit, but people are letting their egos guide them instead of focusing.
Yeah.
So,
what happened to Boxcar?
Oh, that place was doomed from the get-go, man.
I mean, they opened up with one of the top comedians out right now.
That's part of why it failed, I think. They blew a bunch of money on that, on bringing Tom Segura out. And it was just, they were just burning through cash. And didn't have the shows to support, to bring in the money.
Yeah.
So just here and gone. We all kind of knew that would happen.
I was kind of sad, man, because it looked cool.
Yeah, it was a cool place. It was like a kind of a kitschy, cool place. But I don't know. There may be a Wise Guys that'll open down there. They haven't decided yet, but there's talk about opening a Utah County Wise Guys. So
dope.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I want to jump into. You have some more minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to jump into a segment called 2 Truths, 1 Cap.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much 2 truths, 1 lie.
Are you sick of podcasts that just interview people with the same questions and gossiping nonsense?
Are you tired of hearing about what's wrong with the world? Can you locate your nearest orphanage?
Who cooked the Last Supper?
R.I.P. Mr. Potato Head.
Seppuku Harakiri.
Where is Mavis Beacon?
This is Hoss.
And this is host Beefy,
Listen to the Beans and Rice podcast.
exclusively in Braille and all streaming platforms.
Patent pending.
If you're a sports athlete looking for a mouthguard to protect your pearly whites, look no further than All Sports Mouthguards.
All Sports Mouthguards, located in West Jordan, Utah. Come visit us, 1385 West, 9000 South in West Jordan, Utah. We offer high quality, made in the USA, custom molded and custom designed mouthguards.
Cap. I accuse you of capping.
So I gave you some homework. I feel like we've learned a lot about you, so I think we can spot the lie here pretty quick. But
Yeah.
go ahead and shoot.
Okay. 2 truths, 1 cap. Let's see. I have been on multiple nationally syndicated television shows as an actor. I was shot in middle school. And what was the third one I was going to say? Oh, yeah. I once got the phone number of Alexa Vega, the girl from Spy Kids.
Ooh. I feel like that's true. I feel like the television would be true because you're an extra. I feel like if you got shot, I think you shot yourself.
Cheddar Bob.
So I think you shooting yourself or you being shot was the lie.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Never been shot. Been stabbed, never been shot.
How'd you get Alexa Vega's number?
I was on the camera crew of a little independent horror film that she was in. And she was married. It wasn't like I wasn't like spitting at her or anything. Yeah. But at the end of the shoot, she came up and she was like, You're a sweet guy. Here's my phone number if you ever, want to get in touch. I'm like, cool. And then she wrote on my hand, and I washed my hand and forgot to write it down. I never reached out.
Damn, yeah, one shot.
Yeah.
You missed your chance to blow.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Spy Kids was dope.
Spy Kids is dope, yeah. Robert Rodriguez, man.
Do you have another one?
Another one? Oh, shoot. Yeah. Let's see.
You know what's funny is that the kid from Spy Kids is now married to All About the Bass chick.
Meghan Trainor?
Meghan Trainor.
Really?
Yeah.
That kid's fun. I just watched Machete the other day, and he's in that. He plays like a little redheaded Mexican.
Yeah, Miko.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I might be adopted, fool. Machete's like, yeah, no shit.
All right, go ahead, shoot.
Yeah, I was I used to drive a boat for a living. Shoot, I'm trying to remember what I should have wrote these down.
He doesn't do this on stage, guys.
No, I don't. Let's see. Oh, I have 2 kids with 2 different moms. And what was the third one? Bro, I'm drawing a blank. If I did this on stage, they'd boo me.
Sometimes the booze is better than the actual bits.
That's true, man. You're not wrong.
I love it when I see somebody crash and burn on stage.
Yeah, man. I watch Kill Tony every week just to watch people bomb.
Such a great show, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Does Utah have anything like that? Not in like Kill Tony format, but do we have comedy improv shows that people can be a part of?
Sort of, yeah. Well, I mean, we have open mics. They're pretty much like Kill Tony, but without the commentary. But recently they started an open mic called Oh My Heck, and it's like heckles are encouraged. So,
oh no,
we get in this little room, the Rickles room at Wise Guys, and someone will get up on stage and start trying to do material, and everyone's just shouting out the most awful shit, man. Just like,
oh no,
yeah. my friend Holly, she's my roommate. She was she just kept saying shit that was like too true. You know what I mean? There's this guy Willie Wong. He's an old guy. and he's funny, but he's like, I feel like if you get to know him, you're like, some of this guy's ideas are fucked up, you know. But anyway, she goes, all 10 of your wives hate you. He was quick though. He goes, yeah, but I got 97 grandchildren, so it's worth it.
Damn.
Yeah, that show, man. They do that show like every 2-3 weeks. I highly recommend coming out to it. It's fun as hell. Everyone's just shouting shit out. It's like roasts, you know, roast jokes. We also have roast battles. We haven't done one in a little while because the host had been he had a kid. It's been on hiatus, and the other host moved to Austin. So, but those will be starting up again soon. And we got good roasters in Utah. We got good roasters. I'm 0-3. Keep getting my ass handed to me.
When Brendan Schaub, he came here one time, and I was helping him out because he ended up recording like a live for the UFC in the back green room. And so I was helping out the producers with some stuff because they need some equipment. And so I went down there, and David Lucas just ends up roasting me for no reason. I'm like, dog, one, I don't even know you, and I'm not a comedian, so but I'll fight you. Probably whoop my ass, but okay. So boats.
Oh yeah. Drove a boat.
2 kids with different moms.
2 kids with different moms, and also I directed a feature film.
I feel like you're a scumbag, so probably 2 different moms is pretty good. That's the truth. I don't think you've ever drove a boat.
I drove a boat, yeah.
What were you doing?
I drove a boat when I worked at Disneyland.
Was it on like tracks?
Yeah.
Oh, this motherfucker.
Hey.
You've been the truth.
Also, I said feature film. I meant short film. I haven't made a feature. I made short films. Yeah.
So you do got 2 different baby moms.
Yeah. No. Sorry. I don't. No kids. I told two lies and the truth, but it was supposed to be 2. Yeah, I fucked up. I fucked up.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, bro. Yeah, short film is what I meant to say. I just got tongue tied. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. You'll never see it. The shit was terrible, but
really.
Yeah.
Was it here?
Yeah. Yeah, I made a film. It's called Suicide Sally. This girl just like daydreaming about funny ways to kill herself.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That sounds funny as hell.
It was pretty funny, but
is it kind of like Groundhog Day?
No, it's more like you ever see Harold and Maude? It's a movie about a kid who like fantasizes about suicide, and then he ends up he goes to funerals just for fun, and he meets some old lady at a funeral, and they like fall in love. It's a weird ass movie.
What was the last movie you watched?
Blackula.
Was it Black Dracula?
Yeah, it's from the 70s, man. It's an old 70s like blaxploitation movie.
Can we stream this thing?
Yeah, it's on Amazon Prime.
I might have to watch it.
Yeah, man. It's a great movie.
Blackula.
Who
plays Blackula?
I don't even know his name, bro.
Snoop Dogg?
No, it's way older than Snoop Dogg, bro. Snoop Dogg has a movie called Bones, though, that's really funny.
He was a Dracula in that, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
He had a stupid pimp hat.
Mm-hmm.
I love Snoop.
Yeah, me too, man.
Cool, man. We're approaching an hour and a half, but I do have some questions from the internets.
Hell yeah.
Having a good barber is essential, but having that good barbershop experience is even more essential. Get the barbershop experience you deserve with Boogie Down Barbershop, now located at 7378 South Plaza Center Drive in West Jordan, suite number 106. Gentlemen's cuts, tapers, fades, and even a hot towel shave is on the menu. So book your appointment today at boogiedownbarbershop.com and even follow us on social media at The Boogie Down Barber.
Hey, yo, you're probably listening to the Unrestricted podcast with DreRawka. We are? No, they are. Yeah, oh, right.
Oh, wow.
And I'm the real Ruby. You can catch me and Fonzie and the
Funk.
Sweet Daddy Funk on Lake Talk 801 podcast.
Yeah, but I think you have to come in more smoother, more funnier. Like, yeah, they could catch us on the Lake Talk 801 podcast.
Yeah, y'all can catch us on Lake Talk 801.
Yeah, and be like, and yeah, man, hey, And they can catch people like me, the real Ruby, and people like you, Fonzie, and people like him, G Daddy Funk,
Wow,
on
that's
the
a lot
Lake
of
Talk
people.
801. Who cares?
What did he say?
Huh?
I didn't hear him.
I don't know, but
Why-
this probably should be the ad.
Is this? Are these on?
Catch a new episode every Monday on all streaming platforms. The Lake Talk 801. Tune in now.
So Questions is powered by the good folks over at Fusa Motors in Midville, 8136 South State Street or 8160 South State Street. They got 2 locations. FusaMotors.com. That's FIUZA Motors.com. Okay, first one comes from Juke in Brooklyn, New York. What were the 90s like for you?
Oh man, 90s to me was shooting super soakers at my homies, killing wasps with wet rags, playing hoops in the street, getting in fist fights like 5 times a week.
Same people?
A lot of the time, yeah. Homies, you fight your friends. You wouldn't be friends for a couple days and then you'd be friends again, Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of boombox in the driveway dancing. Yeah, man. Just like a movie. That's what it was like.
All right, this one comes from Rhyme Time, our friend Rhyme Time. First album you ever bought with your own money?
What if I traded something for it instead? Could we say that?
We could say that.
Okay, so when I was like 7, I traded a Micro Machine car for CNC Music Factory's tape. Yeah, that was the first. I hadn't even heard of CNC Music Factory, but this dude was like, "You'll love it," and it was all right.
They had one hit.
Yeah. But I guess first album I probably bought with my own money was maybe Nirvana's In Utero, and then my dad found it and threw it away. And then I stole another one.
He was like, "Here's Andre Bonelli," or what the opera singer?
Yeah, Andrea Bocelli.
Bocelli.
Yeah. Listen to this.
Yeah.
I think probably Nirvana. I ended up buying or stealing that tape from the store like, I don't know, 5, 6 times because my dad kept finding it and throwing it away. I think he was afraid I was going to kill myself.
Was it before Kirk?
No, it was after.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, they say music's influential.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Quick question. Why didn't Dad pursue opera?
Family. Yeah, my mom basically convinced him not to. He should have. I mean, he was set up to go audition to be a performer at the Met in New York. He would have made it. He was that good. But my mom didn't want him to. She wanted him to be like a Mormon dad,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about then too, like the 80s and 90s, it wasn't about pursuing your dreams. It was about being a hard worker, providing for your family.
Yep.
And I feel like we're missing that kind of balance now. I agree, you should go and fucking fight for your dreams and go for your dreams, but don't miss your responsibilities too.
Yeah.
So I think we need a healthy balance with that kind of shit.
Yeah.
All right, Will Wonder in West Jordan, your ultimate comedy tour, 4 acts, dead or alive, and the order.
Oh, in the order. Okay, let's see. Dave Chappelle is the opener.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm going to follow Chappelle up with Lenny Bruce. And then George Carlin. And then
headliner is
the GOAT, Richard Pryor, baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not mad at it. All right. May Allen in Sandy, Utah. What food would represent you?
Oh, man.
You better not say coleslaw.
No, hell no. Hell no. Man, this is tough. I'm like split. I'm split between steak and lasagna. Damn. Let me make a choice. I'm going to say lasagna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some layers there.
Yeah, man.
Maybe spicy.
Yeah, that's to be honest, I would say lasagna is an outdated answer because now that my tongue's all crazy, I eat just spicy shit all the time, So neither of the foods I mentioned were spicy. Yeah, actually, we're gonna switch it. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say lamb korma, like Indian food. You know, super hot. Yeah.
All right, I get it. All right, last one here comes from me. This was a question that was asked to me on my last. I do 2 podcasts. I do a solo pod, and then I do one unrestricted with a guest. And one of the questions that got asked to me on my solo pod was, can you love unconditionally? So I'm going to pose that question to you.
Man, if you would have asked me this a year ago, I'd have said yes. But I don't think so.
Why?
I think because you run out of patience if someone's fucking up over and over and over and over again. I can love unconditionally for a long time, but at some point, you got to step away from people. You know, at some point, you got to go, hey, man, you're only bringing negativity to my life now. And you got to step away.
Can you love comedy unconditionally?
No. Well, damn, that's a hard question. I think I can love the concept of comedy unconditionally, but you know, it's not. I turn on a special, and if it's not good, I turn it off. You know what I mean? So, I think there's conditions to just about everything.
Yeah. I hear you. All right, my man. Well, go ahead. Let's wrap this thing up. An hour and a half pod. I'm sorry. I told you I was going to have you for an hour.
It's all good.
You got lunch with some comics. Hopefully they don't kill themselves.
Nah. They're going to be devastated.
What's the socials?
Yeah, it's just Donnie Does It All on Instagram, TikTok. On Instagram, that's with 3 L's because some other chump already had it with 2 L's. So, and he ain't doing shit.
Oh, motherfucker. WiseGuysComedy.com if you want to find out more about any of the shows and dates and rooms that he mentioned earlier.
Yep.
Are you taking commissions for artwork and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Hit my DMs on Instagram, and I respond. You know, if it's work related, I respond. You can also see a lot of my work on my Instagram, both like music, comedy, all of it. That's kind of where I just curate all my stuff. So.
Does Donnie have any aspirations to host his own show or create his own show in the comedy world anytime soon?
Yeah, we're going to be doing, it's Rhyme Time and I are going to be co-hosting a hip hop and comedy show at Wise Guys. We don't have dates yet. We're still working out the details with the club, but yeah, that's coming soon.
Hip hop comedy. That's dope. Yeah. You know, Syfe does hip hop improv.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He does it like it's an improv show, and he'll bring some of his friends. Like he had like, I just recently edited a video for Black Thought.
Oh yeah,
and Fat Joe, and they're like doing comedy, but you don't think about like Fat Joe being a comedian.
Yeah, yeah.
But he has great stories, you know. So that's dope, man. I look forward to seeing your guys' show.
Thanks, bro.
I know Rhyme Time, he told me about it, but I wasn't 100% on it, so I'm glad that you spilled the beans.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's gonna be good, man. Yeah, there's gonna be a roast battle in there and a rap battle in there and a bunch of performers on both sides of the spectrum. So
I say if you're going into something new, respect the space. So somebody coming into the comedy world, your guys' world, what's the best thing for somebody new that wants to get into comedy? What advice that you would give to somebody?
Yeah, first of all, be humble. You see a lot of guys come in, they're in the scene for 2 weeks and they start asking for favors and shows and things like that. It's like you gotta just take your time. Take your time, put in the work, do the fundamentals, and you'll grow or you'll fall off. You know, but don't try and rush it. Just get in there and get to work.
Is there a time when you retire a joke, or do you constantly try to work out a joke?
I haven't given up on a joke yet, so I might put it on the back burner, you know, come back to it. But I've got jokes that I was trying 4 years ago that weren't working, that I've come back to now, and now they work because I figured it out. Yeah, I would say if the idea hit you, there's something there, most likely.
Yeah. Oh man, Cool. Well, go follow Donnie. Anytime I say your name, I think about the Ninja Turtles.
Hell yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, April O'Neil, some dude's calling. His name's Donnie. Donatello. All right, guys. Well, I hope you have the day you deserve. Always protect your light. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Peace.